Well, hello, good afternoon, and welcome to Live at the Waterhole, everyone. We are starting off today in East Africa at Oldonyo Lodge in Kenya, and what a beautiful sight it is with these 4 giraffes coming for a drink and a lovely herd of eland in the background. My name is Amy, and I will be with you for the show today. I'm very excited to spend the next couple hours with you all and chatting, as well as relaxing and enjoying all the sights and sounds that we get to see across various locations in Africa. Remember that you can chat to me as always, and you can do so via the Wild Earth website or the app. You can also send through any comments and questions in the YouTube chat stream. You can also join the conversation on X using the hashtag WildEarth. Or lastly, you can also contact us via our new WhatsApp line, which is super convenient. Just add the number that will be shown to you shortly on screen to your phone, and you can use that application to send through any comments and questions that you may have. Well, our giraffe group grew from 4 to 5. But it's always so beautiful here at Oldonyo when there's lots of different giraffes around. Sometimes I think we had up to close to 20. I remember once a little while ago. There comes number 6 and 7. The necks and heads of the giraffe on the left are creating quite an interesting picture. Victoria, you saying good evening from Australia. Hello. Ooh, hello, boy. That's those are 2 males, just to clarify that there, but I think it's more of a dominance thing than anything else. The sort of attempted mounting. Mindy, you are just loving, all caps, the giraffe action here at Oldonyo. Me too. And it's really nice because we do see a lot of elephant bulls here. It varies. There's some times of the year where we don't see that many. I think that depends on food availability and as well as where the rains are. But for the most part, when there are more elephants, the giraffes tend to stick a little bit more to the background. But there's lots of boys together. There was some attempting necking going on. There's two in the background under everyone's favorite tree that are necking each other. So a lot of testosterone-filled giraffes here at the moment. But what a perfect picture these two boys are forming here at the moment. Harriet, hi, you are watching from Cape Town and you say Happy Human Rights Day. Indeed, it is a public holiday or also known as a bank holiday in South Africa today, and it is the day we celebrate human rights, the 21st of March. So a very happy Human Rights Day to all of the South Africans that are watching. Victoria, you'd like to know what a group of giraffe are called. So it's actually a very interesting one when it comes to giraffe because there's a few different collective nouns. That's the term we refer to when we talk about groups of animals, in the English language anyway. And when it comes to giraffe, depending on what they're doing, they get a different group name. So if they are standing still, they are called a tower. So I suppose a group like this would be a tower of giraffe. If they are walking across the plains or, through the thickets and they're all moving together, then we call them a journey of giraffe. And should one be standing on its own, just peering over the trees, I believe it is called a telescope.
My name is Amy, and today we're going to be doing things a little bit differently.
Join the Wild Earth YouTube superfan community and unlock a world of additional perks. Get exclusive early access or discounts to Wild Earth travel deals. Wear the best bush attire with merchandising discounts. Enjoy an interactive live monthly private safari. Don't miss out on the ultimate fan experience. Join the YouTube superfan community today.
Welcome to Safari Spotlight. We'll be
And you pretend like you're a serviceman, eh?
Got no idea what's going on this reserve.
Expecting the unexpected.
Are we stuck down there?
What am I trying to do?
So we have another giant of Mabula.
That was incredible.
This is unbelievable.
It's going to be a spectacular afternoon.
Safari, wine, and waterfalls. The ultimate African adventure. Sip South Africa's finest wines. Experience a world-class safari among Africa's iconic wildlife. And stand in front of Victoria Falls, one of the natural wonders of the world. All this can be yours with Wild Earth Travel, where Africa comes alive.
Have you with us, Larry. I hope you enjoy the show. Lucy, so the only way it could drink water without bending its legs and crouching as if the water was actually in a position where it didn't need to do that. Quite simply, yes, it could drink without bending down, of course, though I think of an example, maybe a reservoir. There's a few of those around in places like the Kruger that hold the water that then gets pumped to artificial water holes in certain places, or even used to be before some of those water holes were closed due to managing elephant populations and the strategy employed by conservation teams for that. And so sometimes I know the elephants love to stick their trunks over, but I can imagine for a giraffe they would still need to bend a little bit, but they wouldn't necessarily need to go all the way down to the ground. It would depend how full that reservoir is. Wendy, you say that now you've learned the different terms for groups of giraffe. That's wonderful. I'm so glad that I could share that with you. And now if you ever come across a group of giraffes, you can use the correct, I suppose there's no real right or wrong. I often sometimes just say herd when speaking quickly. But it is nice to be able to call them a journey or a tower when chatting about these beautiful animals. Glennis, you say that you're from Port Elizabeth, or I do apologize for the little bit of breakup that you heard there. I believe it is sorted now. Robert, that is a great question. Why did nature make giraffes so vulnerable when they drink? And it's an interesting one. I don't think it's necessarily that they are designed specifically to be vulnerable when they drink, but it's a byproduct of their adaptation to the niche that they fill in the bush. And one of the reasons that they have such long necks is to be able to reach a lot of the vegetation that other animals can't reach. Their long necks allow them to be able to feed from the tops of trees. Look, sometimes they do bend down and feed even on the ground or on short shrubs if they need to. But generally, the reason that they're so tall is to be able to reach a lot of the very tops of the trees, flowers, leaves, those sorts of things that are up there. Now, it's a sort of a chicken and egg situation. Did they adapt to that because they were so tall, or did they become so tall because that was their favorite food? Who knows, really? Impossible to say. But either way, they developed these very long necks. And because of that, in order to drink, they need water to survive. To reach the water, they have worked out a way to get their mouths down to the ground. And that means that they do become quite vulnerable when they drink. So I hope that answers your question somewhat, Robert.
We love all creatures in the African bush, from the biggest to the smallest, including the tiny little insects and arthropods. But some of them are not as charming as we'd like them to be. So that's why I trust peaceful sleep. And it lasts up to 8 hours too, so I can stay out longer, both at day and night, and not feel like I'm somebody's snack.
At Wild Earth, we believe every story has the power to create change. That's why we've launched the Wild Earth Impact Foundation, a non-profit dedicated to conservation and social impact. By showcasing conservation stories, we can change lives, protect nature, and empower communities. We have partnered with Empowers Africa to accept tax-deductible donations from US donors. Your donation will help fund critical programs that support our mission. Join us and be part of the change.
Haina nchumo, haina maka, emavo kwenye ya milu, haina maka. Lifasira mina ritapela, zatsemba, utatsamana mina.
really looks like he is having just the best time. Look at all that mud that he's throwing on himself. It must feel amazing to be able to just get that coolness on such a huge body. Oh, and then he uses his foot like that to really stir up the ground into the water, make it nice and sludgy. Looks like he's having a bathroom break, and what he might do now is come over to the shade and throw sand on himself. When they sticky like this and wet, they often like to put sand on their backs. I think it feels good, creates a bit of an exfoliation texture, and then they'll head off and have a bit of a rub. Sometimes they just go straight for a rubbing post. Oh, there comes some sand. Oh, there's another elephant behind the bush. I just saw an ear move. There we go. Ooh, let's head up to O'Donnell. Ah, this is so cool. Here we have an African hairy hawk that's come down for a drink. This is such a wonderful sighting. Got some giraffe legs in the background. Every now and again we do see quite a few birds of prey, or larger birds, well, smaller ones as well, but birds coming to drink here. Penelope, hello to you. Lovely to hear from you. And yes, it is such a beautiful African harrier hawk. Very distinctive look. You can't really confuse it with anything else. It's got quite a small pointy head in comparison to other birds of prey, and then that very clear sort of yellow skin It can sometimes be a bit peachy, depending how flushed it is. Apparently that's a rush of blood that comes to the face, especially if it's excited or something like that. But for the most part, it is a very clear look. Quite a lot of barring on the tail, and then also barring down the legs, which stops sort of midway because it uses its feet a lot for sort of searching in cavities of dead trees and things like that for food. So it wouldn't work to have feathers all the way down. They would get very dirty. Gillian, absolutely. It was a fantastic time to jump in. Welcome. Ellie, you say it's a beautiful raptor, but the eyes look a bit mean. They are a bit googly, aren't they? Sort of solid black eyes like that always are a little bit freaky, I suppose. And sort of these just black holes in the face. Oh, wow, that's nice. Oh, it's scratching a bit. I wonder why. Maybe looking if there's anything in there to snack on. Or perhaps it was digging just to form a little bit more of a well for the water to become easier to drink. I think as we've been watching it, its face is becoming more flushed. Oh, there's a second one. There's a second one. Oh, wow. This is so cool. I think that's the female that's landed. Look how much bigger she is. And also flushed in the face, quite a peachy pink color. So it's interesting. I've just read up a little bit about the facial coloration because I was like, this has literally changed color while we've been watching it. And it says that exact thing, that the facial color can change rapidly from yellow to a deep red or pinkish color. And usually the face is a pink color when during relaxed pair interactions, which I feel like is exactly what we just witnessed. Maybe they make each other blush.
Experience the magic of the wild on an unforgettable 4-night safari at Mabula Nature Reserve. Hosted by the one and only Stephen Falconbridge. With Steve as your private guide, you'll gain incredible insights into Africa's wildlife, leaving with knowledge and memories to last a lifetime. Get hands-on with conservation, track elusive cheetahs, and even take to the skies on a hot air balloon ride. Wild Earth Travel, where Africa comes alive. South Africa's wild places are closer than you think, because Federal Airlines brings them to you. From the calm of our FedAir lounge to the smooth boarding of our trusted fleet, we take care of the journey so you can enjoy the adventure. Our flights go beyond the ordinary, connecting you to South Africa's most remote and extraordinary locations. Federal Airlines, your gateway to the South African wild.
Best sighting I've presented. I found myself with wild dogs. We chased the dogs around, chased them around. They ate an impala. We got the end of that. Then another impala went into Gowrie Dam down the road there, and the wild dogs went around. Eventually the impala came close to the bank. One wild dog went and grabbed it and then just pulled it out and just did what wild dogs do. It was an emotional experience, but it was very, very special.
Are you ready for the adventure of a lifetime? Wild Earth Travel's newsletter is your passport to a magical journey. Explore exclusive travel options featuring special offers at stunning Wild Earth locations and all hosted by your favorite presenters. Don't miss out. Head over to our website and subscribe to the Wild Earth Travel newsletter today and stay in the know on all our unforgettable adventures. Wild Earth Travel, where Africa comes alive.
Well, we are really being spoilt with giraffes here today. Goodness me. And the lighting is so lovely as well. Robert, you want to know if a bird loses a tail feather, can they regrow it? Yes, they certainly can. When it comes to birds, they actually go through a process called molting, and that can happen multiple times in a year, but usually around once a year. They'll systematically lose and regrow feathers, and that's to help keep their flight in tip-top condition, being able to be efficient and really good feather condition. So, but what will happen, Robert, is that if it loses one of the feathers, whether it's tail or primary flight feather, wherever on the body, one of the, let's say, more important feathers in terms of flight ability, well, even for those that don't necessarily fly, if they lose a feather that's, not within the molting time of the bird, they will be without that feather until they enter into a natural molting period. So you may see birds with missing sort of a gap sometimes, especially when we see eagles flying. We see them flying and there's like a gap in their primary feathers on their wing, or maybe they're missing one in their tail feathers, and that will eventually be replaced. But it could be a long time, a few months up to a year before that feather is completely replaced when that bird goes through its natural molting cycle. DJ, you'd like to know the purpose of a giraffe's mane? That is a great question, and one which I do not have a scientifically based answer for you. Giraffes have manes. As to why they have them, it's, I suppose, why does a zebra have a mane as well? Why does a horse have a mane? It doesn't seem to serve too much of a specific purpose. A lion's mane, which is much larger and thicker, we can understand, making the males look more attractive potentially to the females, offering a bit of extra protection around the neck. Those are the theories that, researchers and even guides and rangers have come up with on observation. I will say that I think it would be odd if they didn't have the mane. You know, it's not much fur there, but I do think that it suits them well, and it may have to do, you know, although giraffes aren't necessarily related to horses, although their Afrikaans name does include the word paard, which is horse, because I suppose in some ways there's horse-like features to them. But, you know, I think the mane, like I say, it suits the giraffe. It would look odd without it. I'm sure there's some sort of link with that to do with something to do with their ancestry. It does seem to be where manes occur on animals. So it's a shared feature between multiple different species, with a mane occurring on the neck. Whether it be giraffes, like I say, zebra, or even domestic horses, kudu, warthogs even have a little bit of a mane on the back.
Every guide in Africa has been on an endless quest for the ultimate bush wear. Until now. Rugged Wear has a huge range of amazing bush gear for every wild situation. In the midday heat, those chilly winter mornings, in the storms of summer. Rugged Wear has the bush kit for every wild occasion. Locally made in South Africa, crafted with precision, stitched with quality.
Oh, Picasso. That's an interesting question, and I do think that the white around the feet in this particular species, the Maasai giraffe, is quite an iconic feature that I've noticed. Specifically, many more giraffes here have it than Southern African giraffes. I have seen Southern African giraffes with more white ankles, but this is sort of a standard thing many of the giraffes have here. I think there may be a link to cooling. I mean, we know that white coloration or pigmentation, lighter pigmentation, reflects heat, therefore leaving things cooler. But in that specific area of the body, there's not much that it would help with. I think it's more just a genetic variation within the coloration of these animals that's come through in the Maasai giraffe genes. That sort of bottom half of the leg, when you see a giraffe carcass, often that's one of the things that are left because there's absolutely no meat on there. The skin is tightly set like a stocking around the bone, and just the blood vessels really that are moving through, and it has to be so tight to help with the circulation that it can easily flow all the way down to the hoof and up again. That giraffe looks like it has two heads. It's almost perfectly aligned, the one at the back and the one in the front. If you cut off the legs, it looks like that giraffe has a head from the front or the back, or you don't know which way is the front of the giraffe actually, whose body belongs to who. Mindy, you have asked if I have ever seen and now forgive me with this pronunciation because I'm not sure. I'd love to know. Tadi was directing, and I'd love to know how she says this. But Gerenuk, My South African in me wants to say a gerenuk. It is an odd looking creature. It has an unbelievably long neck for an antelope. And yeah, it's found in East Africa. I don't think we've seen one on the show before. But yeah, fascinating. Mindy, thank you for sharing that. I suppose they sort of look like an impala, just with an extension in the neck region. Let's head over to Rosie's pan for some birding. Here we have some starlings. I think there's a sparrow there as well, coming for a water bath. Either Cape or greater blue-eared. It's a little bit tricky to tell if they've got the blue ear at the moment. Oh, there's a great go-away bird as well having a bath. Oh, this is fantastic. We haven't been to Rosie's pan in such a long time. And that looks like a southern grey-headed sparrow. Oh, something just landed by the water. I think that was actually another sparrow. Ah, and there's a hornbill, red-billed hornbill. this one actually looks like a dark eye, and I think this is one of the young starlings. It's still developing the coloration. They often are a little bit less iridescent in color, not quite as shiny and I guess pretty as the adults, and then that eye is not yet yellow or orange, because the starling in terms of the blue starlings that we see in the area that have a dark eye are the Burchells, and these ones' tails are far too short to be a Burchell starling. Robert, they are beautiful birds, aren't they? Now that these two have arrived here together, I think these are Burchells. Although I'm doubting myself greatly with not being able to see exactly all the detail, because it looks like those eyes are just not the same and those tails are very short. So I do still think these are youngsters. Juveniles, yeah, there I saw the very black around the head. So that eye is going to change color. They're not pitch black like with the Burchell starling. And it makes sense because many of the starlings bred now over the summer. Oh, there's a little blue waxbill, and the juveniles of those have fledged. And oh, that's a yellow-throated Petronia. Did you see how thick that white brow was? Anyway, lots of birds going on here at Rosie's Pan. It is a great spot for birding. But just to finish off my thought with the starlings, so I think probably greater blue-eared starlings. We hear them calling here. I've heard them before. And slowly but surely they'll get that color in the eye. Sort of the last thing to change. Oh, there's a laughing dove. So that looks like one of the adult starlings there. Now you can see that eye is a bit yellow, very glossy, and yes, greater blue-eared. There you can see that darker ear behind. It's not the actual ear of the bird. It just looks where behind the eye, where the ears would be, the sort of the feathers there are a slightly darker color, and when the sun hits it right, you've got this very sort of specific blue shine, and at a certain angle it can also look black or darker than the rest of the body of the starling. So greater blue-eared starlings with some juveniles here. This hornbill is finding something tasty to eat.
If you're thinking about booking a trip with Wild Earth, do it. I highly recommend it.
The Wild Earth Impact Foundation is a non-profit that uses the power of wildlife storytelling as a force for good. We create sustainable development projects that showcase conservation stories, empower people, and inspire environmental action. As a registered South African PBO, you can make a tax-deductible donation to the Wild Earth Impact Foundation. To find out more, visit our website.
My full name is Mpho Muthusi Tikani. I grew up in Soweto. My first animal that I filmed said to dog. Okay, no, wait. My first animal that I filmed, I think it was an impala. Best sighting ever, I would say it was actually this year, 2024. But it was at this Cedric when we had Muluwati and TP on a warthog kill. I think we have to cut it.
Step into the heart of Africa from the comfort of your home.
Female leopard tracks over here.
Join our expert guides for a live 3-hour safari where every moment is real, unscripted, and unforgettable. Ask questions.
Animals rely on their senses.
Share your thoughts and be part of the experience as we explore together. Safari Live. We are thrilled to announce our new exclusive feature for YouTube members and explorers. Join us live every Tuesday for our sunrise and sunset safaris. Experience Tawny Tuesday like never before with up-close encounters and breathtaking moments. Don't miss out. Become a YouTube member or explorer today and immerse yourself in the heart of the bush. See you Tuesday.
I would say as well that it sounds very much like a raucous Swanson's profile. They've got this sort of very harsh alarm call. When I say alarm, I mean a literal alarm siren-like call. Oh, just one little bird call and they all fly away. I think they should come back. That looked like a bit of a mixed flock of seed eaters. Oh, lovely. Ooh, difficult to say what these are. Maybe widers or indigo birds. I just saw that there was a male, but I think he's transitioning out of breeding plumage, which is another thing that happens at this time of year, which can also be very confusing when it comes to these smaller birds. I know village indigo birds often have very red beaks, but also quelias too. Those do look like quite big bills, quite heavy set bills. So likely to be quelias. They are our confusing starling species, but have a look at the one in the back. Do you see how it's got quite a lot of black feathers in between? Not quite got its full iridescence. It's still molting out its juvenile feathers. And so this is a family of greater blue-eared starlings around here. But yes, very easy to confuse that dark eye with a Birchall starling for sure. Time for a water bath. Catherine, you are loving the birding today. I'm so glad to hear that. Robert and Ellie, you enjoy bird calls or bird songs. It's so relaxing, isn't it? And it's something that is just a great way to start one's day. Or even actually put on, I've played sort of bird call music, inverted commas, throughout like a dinner party as well. It's lovely in the background. There's the culprit, Lyra. We were talking about this Swanson spurfowl calling. Oh, it's going to do it. That's the one. Bit of an odd time for it to be calling, I won't lie. Usually we hear them early morning. They love to perch prominently, the males as they call, and then also in the evening before they roost. And basically he's calling to let all the other spurfowls know that he's there and the spot is taken. Fuzzy Dunlop, no. I think my bird call playlist or sort of songs of the forest or something would not include a Swanson spurfowl. That's for sure, unfortunately.
Become a Wild Earth YouTube member today and unlock extras and bonuses, like ad-free streams so you can stay immersed in your safari without any interruption. Have your burning questions answered first by me or other expert naturalists. Join now to avoid missing out on these amazing benefits. Help us connect people to nature.
Ah, there's that little wax spill. That's a male. You can just see how much brighter he is. That blue's just a little bit more prominent. Could pick a different branch if he's struggling to balance, really. And blue wax spills make the most beautiful nests. I know that there are probably other birds that also make very pretty nests, but they are so easy to spot, often in thorn trees. And I wonder if there isn't a nest close by here, actually. But they use a very particular grass called blue seed grass, which is this sort of small, delicate grass, which gives its nest a very particular look. And they use the thorn trees, of course, not exclusively. They do put them in other trees as well. But if it's not that, then maybe a spike thorn or something, because of the extra protection that the thorns offer to their nests, which is very clever. And I always remember that those two go together, blue waxbill and blue seed grass. Deb, hello. You'd like to know who does the zooming on Live at the Waterhole. So it's different people depending on the time of day, depending on the location. So there are zoomies who are volunteers to control cameras at certain locations. They are amazing and choose to help spend time zooming around with the cameras to find the animals and share them with us. And then sometimes also the director, so whether today Tadiwa or Mika move the camera themselves from final control, depending if there's a zoomie on the camera or not. And so yes, that is who controls the zooming. Lovely. Let's head to the Kruger and have a look at some hippo at Shalati. Looks like we have a mother and baby here, which is very cute. Well, unfortunately, those hippos did move away, but still nice to see them busy around here. Let's head down to the Western Cape to Stony Point. Oh wow, it's been a while since we spent some time with the Dussies, and they can be so cute, these rock hyraxes. Oh, look at this one, just time to chill out. And these dussies love to spend time resting, relaxing on the rocks, often in the sunshine if they can. I think especially, you know, when the rocks of course absorb a lot of heat in the day, and that's why they choose to then stay in between these rocks, sleep there. You can see a lot of dusty poop around. Very clear that this is their home. Deb, yes, there would be threats to dussies. In this particular area, those threats are limited. I would say birds of prey and perhaps snakes being some of the main threats to the dussies. But in other areas within game reserves and things like that, where we do find different hyrax species, I mean things like leopards, other small cat species, serval, even caracal, they would also be able to overpower and hunt dussies.
My heart is pounding at the moment.
We are here in one of the best places in the world to see tigers.
Become a Wild Earth YouTube member and unlock exclusive bonuses and benefits. Enjoy uninterrupted, ad-free streams so you can stay immersed in nature. Have your burning questions answered first by me or other expert naturalists. Enjoy exclusive access to special broadcasts and videos, and help us to connect people to nature.
My full name is Tikani. Best part of my job is coming to see nature. Worst part of my job is logging. That's the worst thing ever, because you have to log amount of footage. You sit in front of that computer and yeah, you think of deleting the footage, but no, they need the footage. If I went to camel, probably a soccer player. I know some people don't believe me, but I'm very good, I'm very fast.
We understand that not everybody has got spare pennies to rub together at the end of the month. We're introducing an initiative called Gift an Explorer.
So that those with lots of pennies can gift a Wild Earth Explorer access to those with fewer.
We're aiming for 250 gifts, but the more the merrier.
You can nominate a recipient or keep it anonymous.
It's a great way to share the Wild Earth mission with other nature lovers around the world.
here is, I'm not sure if there's 1 or 2 penguins in there, but that is our little nesting site that we're monitoring here at Stony Point, and I just cannot wait for the day when an egg or 2 hatches and we have little baby penguins. I'm sure many of you are looking forward to that. I'm not sure if an egg has been laid or not yet, but they have to incubate, I think it's well over a month, so it'll be a while till that takes place. But it is something to look forward to. Lenny, you'd like to know what dassies eat? So they actually eat a lot of plant material. They don't spend too much of their day foraging, but they do sort of climb up onto the banks every now and again, and we see them feeding on bits of vegetation. But you can see the weather today here along the coast, very sort of misty and overcast. I'm not sure if it's raining, but it does look quite miserable, I must say. Very cool. Whole bunch of cormorants there seated on the rocks. Oh Deb, no, please do send through all the questions that you have. It's always part of doing the show is one of the wonderful things about doing the show is that we get to chat a lot to all of you. We have time. I'm not driving a vehicle and have other things that can have to focus my attention on, so we get to chat really nicely and just have time to explore different topics. Richard, hi, you'd like to know if we would ever see dassies on Wild Earth during safari live shows in our different locations. There's a possibility, I think more so maybe in Amakala, perhaps there may be a group of dassies that could be there, just knowing that rock hyraxes do occur in the Eastern Cape, and I know in East London, the town not too far from Amakhala, even in Port Elizabeth, I think as well, which is just a bit further north, there are lots of dassies, especially along the coastal regions. Lady Macbeth, you say that you usually stay in drier habitats. So when it comes to specifically these rock hyraxes, I actually know them growing up, being along the coast. They are very adaptable, and they can really adapt to living in all sorts of rock-like or hard structures, even storm drain pipes. There's a group that live down the road from my parents' house in East London that I see every time I visit there. A lot of the times they come out onto the rocks along the coast to sun themselves. With regards to the Sabi Sands and Sandringham, I've never seen a dassie there, not that I can think of. But generally, being rock hyraxes, one would have to have some sort of a rocky area for them to be able to be around. I've seen them in the Kruger at one of the lookout points, hearing them also calling in the rocky areas. Up in the northern parts of Kruger and Pafuri, I remember we were lucky enough to have quite a professor of some sort that does research on hyraxes, and she was telling us that the species up there in northern Kruger is actually different. So it's not the rock hyrax that we see here, but rather it's the yellow spotted, which was very cool to see. And then you also get a tree hyrax that it's exactly like a dassie, but adapted to climbing and living around the trees. So it's interesting, and as long as they sort of have a suitable habitat for them to live in, as far as I know, they can really adapt to live in multiple different sort of areas and vegetation types and that sort of thing. Yes, Lady Macbeth, you said the top of Table Mountain has a lot of hyrax. I can 100% believe that. I mean, that is perfect for this particular species to thrive. I mean, I know them really to be all along the coastal areas, cliffs and things like that. Just as long as they've got something to, of course, some sort of a rock to live in, then they can be found there. Colio, you'd like to know the species of penguin. I do apologize for not mentioning the species, but it is an African penguin, the African penguin that we saw there.
We love all creatures in the African bush, from the biggest to the smallest, including the tiny little insects and arthropods, but some of them are not as charming as we'd like them to be. So that's why I trust peaceful sleep. And it lasts up to 8 hours too, so I can stay out longer, both at day and night, and not feel like I'm somebody's snack.
Join the Wild Earth YouTube superfan community and unlock a world of additional perks. Get exclusive early access or discounts to Wild Earth travel deals. Wear the best bush attire with merchandising discounts. Enjoy an interactive live monthly private safari. Don't miss out on the ultimate fan experience. Join the YouTube superfan community today. Wild Earth Travel would like to take you to Namibia and Botswana. Drift over the desert in a hot air balloon, then glide through the lush Okavango Delta in a dugout canoe. This extraordinary journey blends dramatic landscapes with outdoor adventures and unparalleled wildlife encounters. Discover Africa like never before. Book now with Wild Earth Travel, where Africa comes alive.
Robert, you'd like to know if there are coastal lions or big cats that live along the coast. There definitely can be. I think more likely just because of a leopard's nature, they easily move along coastlines. They are no different though from the leopards that we see in a game reserve like Tau. Oh, there's some beautiful zebra as well. Lovely. And so they are still Panthera pardus or Panthera leos scientifically, and there's no difference. Sometimes if we think of Cape leopards, ones that move along the coast, like I say, scientifically no difference in terms of species, but they do tend to be a little bit smaller in size. Lions on the coast would only really occur if the reserve extended and protected a piece of coastline. That doesn't necessarily mean that they would be on the beach, but within that region. I mean, I think Amakala is an example of that in terms of having areas like dune thickets. Whether the lions would actually move to an area like that is a different story. But these big cats can be along coasts. But they are very adaptable to a lot of different regions within not only southern Africa but Africa as a whole. There we have a black-headed heron. So we were just looking at the grey heron, and you can see that this one has the black on top of the head, giving it its name. is a beautiful heron, isn't it? Not one that we actually get to put on screen very much, so very cool to be able to have such a lovely view. It's perched perfectly for us here. And they are more based in the grasslands than in the water. So with a grey heron, we often see them sort of in the water actively fishing, whereas a black-headed heron we normally see in the grass, and very much a fan of frogs. JD, you're joining us from the Canadian Rockies. What a beautiful part of the world. I've been fortunate enough to visit that area. I actually got engaged at Lake Louise. Can you believe it? So I know somewhere in the area where you are, and it is a stunning one up there in the mountains. PBN Jam, hello. Lovely to hear that you've popped in just for a bit. Ellie, it's such a pleasure. It is a really lovely thing to do the show, and we've had a lovely show today. A few different things along the way, and very nice to have the African Harrier hawks. I think that was the highlight for me personally. But beautiful giraffe, this lovely herd of impala, penguins, dassies, a bit of birding along the way. To all of you that have joined us today, thank you so much. It has been wonderful hosting the show, and thank you to everyone for your comments and questions. We had some wonderful chats today, and a lot of interesting questions as well. Thank you always for interacting and being part of the show. It makes all the difference. Well, this afternoon we will be back out on drive, including myself here at Mabula, and the Sunset Safari will start at 3:30. So in an hour's time, we'll be going live and sharing the drive with you all. All right, everyone, we'll see you then. Bye for now.